Hey everyone, my name's Melissa Strange. One of my favorite TV shows is about to air, season number 4. I'm talking about Orphan Black. The show shot in my hometown. The acting is great, the plot is great. If you don't know what this show is, I suggest that you subscribe to my video, hit like, go watch all of it, and then come back here and continue watching, because this video is going to be spoiler city. So what I thought I would do is I thought I would recap season 3 in bullet form, because April 14th, season 4 premieres, and April 14th is the day I'm uploading this video. So without further ado, let's do this. Season 3 starts with Helena being held captive by Dr. Virginia Cody somewhere in this military camp with Castor clones. Sarah realizes Helena's missing and wants to go and find her. Delphine is the new Rachel. Rachel suffers a lot of brain damage from getting stabbed in the eye, so now she has to relearn how to talk and she can't walk, and we find out that she had planned to Helsinki the clone club and kill them all, and now there's this plan in motion to have them all killed. So Delphine and Sarah come up with a plan to cancel all of the plans to kill off the clone club. Allison is running for school trustee. The Castor clones are experiencing a glitch, and they need to find some of the original genetic material so that they can maybe find a cure. Sarah has to send Kira away with her father for her own safety. Cosima and Scott have a book, The Island of Dr. Moreau, which was given to Kira by Duncan, which seems to have some type of crazy scribbly code language inside that they can't figure out what it says. They need a cipher for it. But they decide to keep the book a secret between the two of them. Art and Sarah work together to try to find Mark to find out where maybe Helena is being held captive. Cosima is able to remove a brain from a Castor clone, do tests on it, and she finds out that Castor and Lita are actually biological siblings. Donnie and Allison become pill drug dealers to try to gain votes and make some money after Donnie loses his job and Allison wants to run for school trustee. Sarah finds Gracie and tells her that her husband Mark is actually a clone. Sarah finds Mark, and together they find a baby that had died that was made using the original Castor genetic material. Gracie has a miscarriage and once again is banished from her family. Felix helps Cosima find love on a dating app. Rudy captures Sarah and takes the baby and Sarah back to Dr. Cody. Helena and Sarah are then reconnected in this Castor military jail thing in their cells, and Helena feels betrayed by Sarah and doesn't want to talk to her or help her, and she's mocking her because she feels that Sarah is the reason why she's there, and Sarah explains, no, Mrs. S sold you to Castor so that they could free me from Dyad. Gracie finds Art, and Art takes her to go live with Felix and Mrs. S. While there, she explains that she's never got to experience anything, so they give her some drinks and they have a dance party where she collapses. I think she has some type of seizure and her eyes become all bloody. Helena and Sarah work together to make a plan to escape the Castor military prison, and while the escape is happening, Helena ditches Sarah, leaves her locked up in the cell as revenge, and takes off on her own, although she does feel guilty about it. Paul figures out that the Castor clones are collecting hair samples from the women that they've been sleeping with and keeping a log about it. Paul also finds out that Dr. Cody has given Sarah a bunch of Rudy's blood and she's been very sick, violently ill, and it's not looking so good for her. But then Sarah just miraculously survives and is better again, and Dr. Cody reveals that she is immune to this Castor pathogen, that's why she was doing this experiment. So Paul's mad and arrests her. Allison and her drug partner slash ex-boyfriend want to buy Allison's mother's shop, Bubbles, as a drug front. Rachel's doing some painting as a form of art therapy, and Scott notices that she has these symbols in the painting that are the same as the symbols in the Dr. Moreau book, and he realizes that she might be the answer and she might know the key. Cosima figures out that the Castor clones are actually spreading their own version of an STD, making women sterile. And that's what happened to Gracie. Paul realizes that Dr. Cody was actually planning to weaponize this pathogen that the Castor boys have, so him and Sarah start to plan an escape. But then Paul gets stabbed and knows he can't make it, so then he pushes Sarah through this hole and tells her to leave, locks it, and he tells her that he loves her and that he's gonna finish this. So what does he do? He blows up all the science, including that baby, using a grenade, which also means he died too. During the escape, Helena returns to help Sarah, and they end up in a bar somewhere in Mexico where Mrs. S is coming to pick them up, and Helena says she's gonna kill Mrs. S, but then because of the baby and everything, I guess they're going to be a big family, and she's no longer going to try to kill Mrs. S. Instead, she is now Mrs. S's like adopted daughter. Helena goes and lives with Allison and Donnie, and Allison and Donnie hire Helena and Gracie to be employees at Bubbles. The only way Rachel will actually help Felix and Sarah is if they help her escape from Dyad, because she is fearing that Delphine is going to kill her. And so they have to steal the identity of another clone named Crystal, who doesn't even know that she is a clone, to give to Rachel so Rachel can pretend to be somebody else and fly away. But Crystal's also previously been attacked by Castor and has her suspicions. Rudy finds out about the book and shows up at Scott's house and threatens to kill his cat if he doesn't receive the book. So he gets the book. While Rachel's at Mrs. S's house decoding this book, Dr. Nealon shows up and takes her back and is mad and takes the book. It turns out that it was all kind of a planned thing. They knew that she was going to be taken out. But Rachel was able to decode one page of the book, which led them straight to London for some more answers. Delphine is angry that Scott and Cosima hid this book from her. And they believe now that Rachel, which is actually Crystal, is in a coma, and they will never be able to find out what was actually written in this book. And Rachel's off getting a new eye somewhere. Mrs. S, Sarah, and Felix are all off to London to find out who the original Castor clone is. While they're there doing so, a bunch of the people helping them are getting killed by Ferdinand, who's from Topside, who's on his mission to also find the clone, and he's just following Sarah's quest for the original Castor clone. Cosima tells Delphine that she thinks her girlfriend Shay was the one who spilled the beans about the book to Castor, so Delphine goes and basically threatens to kill Shay if she doesn't admit the truth. But then Cosima realizes it was actually Gracie who sold them out, because she was hoping if she had traded this book, she would get Mark back, which is what they did. Due to a fight between Jason and Donnie, Allison's drug lord Pouchy has demanded that they give back all the pills because he no longer trusts them. So what do? The guy goes and as collateral, he takes Helena a jar of her fertilized baby eggs. While Donnie's with Pouchy trying to debate how to get these pills and the money exchanged, and Pouchy basically says, no, you're actually gonna work for me now, Helena shows up at the door dressed and acting like Allison, goes in, and Pouchy threatens Oscar and Gemma, so Helena goes, you threaten babies? And she slaughters all of them and gets a giant sack of money in return. Sarah tracks down the home of the Castor original, Kendall Malone, and finds out that she's actually a woman. Then who comes bursting through the door? Mrs. S. And we find out that Kendall Malone is Mrs. S's mother. And then we find out that Kendall Malone is the original for Castor, but is also the original for Lita. So they bring back Kendall and they explain to Ferdinand what's going on, and they work out a deal with him to give him Dr. Cody. So everyone in the Clone Club works together to make this happen. Helena actually kills Rudy. Delphine realizes that Crystal is actually the one in the coma and that Rachel's missing. Delphine arrests Dr. Nealon, and Dr. Nealon reveals that both Castor and Lita are being run by the Neolutionists. Then he bites his mouth open and a worm comes out. And so Delphine has to shoot him, and while he's dying, he says that Neolution is all around her and that she'll be dead by the morning. So then Delphine goes on her goodbye tour and visits Shay and gives her a dyad card with Delphine's name on it, and on the back side it says B24321, which is Cosima's ID number, and tells her to give this to Cosima and tell her that I said you could tell me everything. And then she goes to Cosima and basically says goodbye to her and leaves. Allison wins the election. Delphine gets shot by somebody, but we don't know who. Rachel's being held somewhere by Neolution, and we don't know where. Then we find out that her mother, Susan Duncan, isn't actually dead. She's there. She's where Rachel is. And then Sarah and Mrs. S, along with Kendall Malone, go to where Kira is being held with Cal, her father, and they are going to be leaving Kendall there as protection. And the season ends with this beautiful moment of Sarah and Kira staring at each other in the snow after not seeing each other for a while. So that is everything pretty much that happened in season 3. And I hope that helped you. But I have a couple questions. Like, who shot Delphine? I think it's somebody that we already know. Someone's undercover. Who is it? Who else is a Neolutionist? I'm freaking out about that. And then also, what the heck was that worm thing? Are there gonna be more worms coming out of people's mouths? Because that's pretty gross, and it's also scary. This is gonna be a crazy season. Thanks for watching this video, you guys. If you did enjoy it, it'd be super awesome if you hit the like button and leave me a comment down below with some of your predictions as to what is going to happen for season 4 of Orphan Black. I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and if you did, it would also be really awesome and rad It's super cool of you, fellow clone clubbers, to hit the subscribe button down below. Please, I'll do more Orphan Black videos if you do, or if you want me to, whatever. It's all good. Once again, my name is Melissa Strange, and until next time, stay strange.